What is going up, guys? So welcome to another podcast video here. We're going to be talking about, are marijuana stocks still irrelevant? Are they still good to invest in? So I made a video talking about the top 5 marijuana stocks, to buy or to look at or to, look for possible trades off it. And you guys seem to really react to that video there. But so pretty much, marijuana stocks were tearing up the market, in late August to all the way till pretty much October. So we had this huge, probably 2-month span of marijuana stocks literally just taking off, running ridiculous percents. And now, are we in a bull market, or pretty much what's going on? Is just the big thing here. So, as you guys can see, this is CRON. This is one of the most popular marijuana stocks. For you guys listening on the podcast here, I'll kind of explain it. So this stock went from around $6 and hit a high of $15.30 in under, that month and a half time frame. So, there is a lot of volatility with it, but when something moves up that high, we often get some sort of pullback, which we did. It did fall all the way back down to 620 before it bounced and continued to rally up here. And now it's at 1178, which is, fairly decent for something as volatile. Volatile. So, what do I see, going on with this, these marijuana stocks? And kind of I want to give you guys some insights on some of this stuff. So, when a stock moves that much, we get something called FOMO, which is, fear of missing out. So that's why many people will buy on rumors and sell on news. So oftentimes there'll be some sort of rumor here of of a company merging with somebody or something like that. Then we would get this huge spike, and then when the article actually comes out, we get a pullback because a lot of people will sell on that that news article, which is really weird, if you think about it. But pretty much, so it also in 2018, Canada, legalized marijuana. So I looked up what their sales could exceed, and it said $4 billion in 2019, which is 6 times more than medical marijuana sales in 2017, which that would be literally insane. But the overall marijuana market is worth around $50 billion in the U.S., which is tremendous. So when we see these types of stocks, many people will say, oh, well, we're getting in on the ground floor, and I see where they're coming from. But would I honestly hop in marijuana stock? I would. If something came along and, I understood it and, it was just kind of a good opportunity. But since these stocks are so volatile, if you were going to look into hold it for long term, yeah, it would be pretty risky. But I feel like the upside potential is, fairly decent, which is, amazing, because the overall global marijuana market is worth around 150, billion. So, the U.S. has around, that 1/3 stake in that, around 50, which is pretty interesting. So, if you're already invested in marijuana stocks, what do you do? What do you do, guys? All right, so what I would recommend doing is take, some time and to revisit your portfolio and see if you have some of the best, Go on my past podcast. There's multiple different types of good, good marijuana stocks out there. TLRY, very popular name. CRON, very popular There's just honestly, there's a ton of them out there. So if you guys got in and you're slowly, and you're making money off it, fantastic. But with oftentimes with those types of stocks, it's pretty risky if you think about it, because if it is right now we're on the ground floor of everything. So if you were looking to put marijuana stocks into your portfolio, would you do it heavily? What would you use? So what I would recommend doing is don't use any margin or any leverage on these types of moves or on these types of stocks. Just buy them, hold them, see what they do, guys. Because it's really risky right now. I would say many experts or other people would say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." Well, I am a fairly successful trader, and I've seen moves like this happen in the past. And yeah, I do think the stock could possibly hit $20, so it's almost doubling your money within 2019. But the risk, it could easily fade back down to 8 within literally probably 1-2 days. Within 2 days, we've had that happen in the past, which is very good. And also, it does look like it looks like there's a pretty strong support on 200 moving average. It's for those of you who don't know, it's the past 200 days. They take the closing price of all of these stocks and they average them together. So that's what that is. If you guys hear anything about that, so like I was saying, Tilray is just released. They are another very popular stock and company, but they just released that they had a $15 million partnership with Budweiser for some type of infused drink. And yeah, I do think that would be fairly interesting for a marijuana infused beverage. So, like I said, Tilray, TLRY, is one of those stocks that you would kind of look at. There's a ton of stocks that are in that marijuana sector, but they are fading. It's just part of the game. So what I'm just recommending you guys doing is just take some time and look at what you're actually buying here. But yeah, so Michigan, and I'm not sure if North Dakota did do the marijuana. I'm not sure. I'm looking it up right now. So I'm actually a resident, and I'm a resident in Michigan, but so I just looked it up in North Dakota. Hold on, I'm kind of jumping around here. Just give me a second. All right. So what happened in North Dakota? It looked like the voters did reject the legalization of marijuana, which is pretty interesting because as being a resident from Michigan, where it just passed, I can see why people voted against it and why people voted for it. I'm not going to get into that. This is not a politics type podcast, but so a lot of states are actually starting to become that legal recreation marijuana. I don't even know what to talk, like, not talk about, but like what to say. So another big thing is Canada regulators may okay the sale of profit-friendly products like edibles, vapes, and other concentrates. So that honestly, that would be very big, because I know that's where a lot of people actually, they do, because they don't like the smell, but they like the effect. So I think that would be a very significant increase for the total sales in Canada. But is it too late to invest? Realistically, no. These stocks move a lot, so they move a lot. They're pretty risky. They're what you call volatile. And as for traders, you can really profit off it. But if you're inexperienced or you don't know really what's going on, you just gotta be risky. You know, ACB is pretty risky right now. There's a couple stocks that are pretty risky. MM and FF is fairly risky. I'm just kind of finding some that I wrote down here. TGODF. I'm not saying to sell, but I'm just saying to take some time and actually see, if they're worth it. And stocks that are good are honestly probably going to be the big boys. They're going to be Tilray. They're going to be Kron. They're going to be, they're going to be just the big guys. Those are the only two I can think of right now. But and the reason why they're big is because they're always in the news. They're always, they're bigger companies rather than like a mom and pop store that say released their IPO and they're in that marijuana sector. And so people will hop on it thinking that the business is actually growing while it's not. So we do get these pullbacks in the market. That happens often. But, Tilray, they just did that thing with Budweiser, a 50-50 joint venture to research cannabis-infused beverages. So I think that's very interesting. So, I would pretty much just wait. I know that I've been saying to invest in, you can. I probably will. But if you're going to be smart about it, you're going to want to just wait for all this heat to die down, which it slowly has been if you think about it. But I would just wait, probably till, the mid of January and check on it. See where these stocks are moving. Because if they're falling like a rock, you don't want to hop in on it. You want to wait for some type of bull trend for a long-term investor. And especially for swing trading, you want to make sure it's over those resistant points or it's under those, support lines, however, whatever your strategy is. But, so I think there is some money to be made. There's a lot of bigger guys, these bigger companies, they have more capital involved. So if they take a hit on their sales, they still have more capital. So they're still around, rather than these mom and pop store, you will literally see them in the news and then they're companies off the New York Stock Exchange and you just got screwed out on money. So just keep that in mind, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little podcast video here. Remember to always stay happy, stay positive. And if you guys have any questions, please sure to, leave a comment if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. And if you're watching in the podcast app or any podcast apps, make sure you guys subscribe if you guys like these videos. Take care, everyone. Peace out. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the weekend. Bye.